What's going on, good people of the internet? It is time for OnComicsGrounds.com's flagship podcast, Panel to Panel, where a bunch of folks shoot the breeze and talk about comic books and such. We are back. We are back after our winter hiatus. We are back once again to talk about all the things going on with the comic sphere and comic culture. We are here once again. It feels good. It feels good to do that intro. I love doing it. Like, ever since I first created it, I've loved doing it. And it's good to have two of my favorite people back with me to talk about the stuff that we love and we care about. My name is James Portis. To my left, we have the Batwoman lover, the hardest worker that we have here at On Comics Ground. We have the woman who does not sleep, who just is currently eating goldfish by the handful. Mary, how you doing?
I really don't sleep, like, ever. But I'm fine.
Doing? Excellent. All right. And to my right, we have the man whose afro apparently will not stop growing. And he is now single, ladies. Hit him up. Mr. Travis,
oh my God.
How you doing?
He did not.
Oh my God. How are you, sir? How are you?
Yeah, I'm on blast right now. Just
you good? I'm trying to hook you up, bro. Your wingman. It's cool.
I appreciate that. I'm doing better, actually. It's been kind of rough, but things are looking up.
Hey, that's what matters. That's what matters. Don't forget, you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, all your favorite listening platforms except for SoundCloud, because we don't support SoundCloud because their prices are too steep. And we are able to, you can follow us on Twitter at PTP_podcast. You can also check out our website On Comics Ground on Twitter and Instagram at On Comics Ground. And you can check out our website every weekday for all kinds of new previews, solicitations, reviews, and op-eds about the comic industry. So make sure you check all of that out. All right. So you saw it on our Twitter feed this past week. You saw the climax of it all play out on the screen this past week. We are, of course, talking about the event that just stormed all over television. It broke down barrier after barrier when it came to cameos and appearances and lore and twisting things and changing continuity and just fusing everything into one giant souffle of amazingness, but also some stuff I don't like, but we'll get to that. I am, of course, talking about the death. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spoil everything. I'm, of course, talking about the Crisis on Infinite Earths, a.k.a. Arrow's finally over and I can celebrate. Hi! But also,
it has 2 more episodes.
I don't care. It's dead. The show is over. We'll consider these the epilogue. It's over. That's how I feel. But no. Okay, so Crisis on Infinite Earths happened. We had the first 3 parts before Christmas, and then they were like, no, we're going to be mean to you. We're going to give you the last 2 parts after Christmas. That hiatus itself was the most torturous thing you could possibly do to humanity. And I just, damn. Especially on the cliffhanger you did with it. Like, that's just torture right there. Like, Mary, were you as like hurt as I was?
Yes, I mean, my brain has been whirling with theory and speculation for the last month and a half now. So I was legitimately shocked for them to do what they did and then to just turn around and go, maybe not.
That's fair. Now we're going to go under the assumption that you have seen Crisis on Infinite Earths. So we're going to talk about all of the cameos, all of the spoiler discussions. So this is your spoiler warning. If you have not seen it, go ahead and hop on the CW app or the CW TV website and check the 5 parts out, and then come back and listen to this podcast. So we're going to dive in and first talk about these cameos. So before that, we should probably give notice of the fact that, of course, Crisis on Infinite Earths was based on the original event comic, DC's really big event comic that's kind of started all of the events that continued all throughout history, and now we're dealing with this stupid Kree versus Skrull Empire crap going on at Marvel, and I'm not really happy about. But Crisis on Infinite Earths, written by Marv Wolfman and art by George Perez, started this entire trend that broke down barriers of how many characters could be involved in such a climactic story. And we're trying to do that on the CW with limited characters and not as many as we could, but we're doing with what we can. So, with what we got, Mary, what were your overall thoughts before we dive into everything?
Of all 5 pieces?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, Crisis on Infinite Earth is one of my absolute 2 favorite comic book events. The other one being the death of Superman. So when I first heard that they were doing Crisis, I think I was more scared than anything, because this is an ambitious event. Because the original motivation for the comic book Crisis on Infinite Earth was to take all of the properties that DC had acquired from, the early 40s to the early 80s, stripping out what they wanted and then compressing it all into one universe. So that's how we got things like Plastic Man and Black Hawk. That's how we got them all in the same universe, was because of crap like Crisis.
I'm sorry, I'm just kind of stunned that you said that 52 wasn't one of your most favorite events. Like, that kind of that caught me off guard.
52 is a maxi series. It's not an event.
Okay, fair.
When I mean event, like events, I mean like it's got tie-ins, yada yada yada.
Okay.
No, 52
okay,
is my favorite book of all of comic book forever. But so when I heard that they were doing Crisis, I called it immediately that I knew exactly what they were going to do was to at least bring Supergirl into Earth 1. Black Lightning, I was still a little shaky about because, the advertising and narrative shift has just been so strong this whole time that I'm like, I could see it going either way. But no, as soon as I heard they were doing Crisis, I turned to Victoria and I said they're going to move Supergirl over.
That's fair.
What I was not expecting was for DC to go, oh, do you want multiverse? Well, fuck you, have the entire multiverse.
And we mean everything.
Like, that's what I was not expecting, was for them to go, oh, okay, shut the fuck up, have this.
It's like, you get a cameo, you get a cameo. Like, everybody just kept coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, and I painstakingly wrote all of them down.
And we appreciate you, and we're gonna get into it. But Travis, you at the tail end of this whole thing. How are you feeling about Crisis so far?
It was pretty cool. I enjoyed it for sure. It's got all the cameos that I wanted. And with the amount of stuff and people they're cramming into it, I think they did pretty well.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. They pulled it off. I mean, if you want to do like a page-to-page comparison, like, no, fuck you. Of course it's not. No. Fuck you. Of course it's not going to work.
I mean, Crisis on Infinite Earths, the OG, is so fucking old. I don't think it really matters anyway. They did this because it's a huge name, and they could take an intellectual property and shove all of their stars in one show, kind of solidifying that the CW is just going to be the DC live-action network for the next decade or so.
And I'm gonna batten down the hatches right now and go and hide behind something after I say this, but broadcast TV superhero shows aren't a bad thing. And now I'm gonna go run and hide from the internet.
I agree with that statement. Nah. This is our show. We say what we want. You can add us, but we saying what we want. So
I'm just saying. Just give me no. I heard that, James. Give me 30 seconds for a tangent.
Go for it.
But I mean, the fact that, in large parts of the country, the CW is broadcast TV. It's not cable. It's not anything. Can you imagine having access to this kind of an event of this scope when we were kids?
No, because all we had was Smallville, and even that was like it didn't reach those kind of level.
I think the closest it got was like the Godzilla movies over time.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, how cool is that? That, essentially speaking, pretty much everybody has access to something like this.
Yeah.
Like, so
it's kind of insane.
Broadcast superhero shows are important, and they have TV budgets. So shut up.
No, you're fine.
I grew up really poor. Like, we didn't get cable consistently until I was in high school, actually. We didn't have lasting home internet until I was in high school, so we did a lot of broadcast TV, and I do have an affinity for it because of everything. And to think about the fact that you could have had access to things like this, it's a really cool thought for me, and that's why I'm just kind of like so, I don't know, butthurt about it. Jazzed. There we go.
You're not even butthurt. You care about this stuff. That's what matters, bro. So, like, for me, I like keep in mind, I am one of those people that like also ding dong, the arrow's dead, the arrow's dead, the arrow's dead, ding dong, the arrow is dead. Okay, cool. I told Mary like behind the scene that I was going to do that, and no one could stop me. I've been saying from the jump that when the CW first kicked off with all this stuff, when Smallville was dead and they started up Arrow, that Arrow was a mistake. I firmly think the direction the Arrow took was a mistake. I will stick by that to this day. But I accept the cultural importance of Arrow. I accept the cultural importance of Flash, Supergirl, like Legends. It's insane, and people like it. You're valid. I appreciate you, but like, it ain't for me. Like the disrespect shown to like a couple of characters, like the JSA. I don't like it. But like in general, I appreciate what the CW has done. I think Black Lightning is the best, and no one can stop me from saying that. But in general, I appreciate what it's done, and I love Flash for specifically Grant Gustin Barry, but like everything else, I want to throw it in a dumpster. Like I love Melissa Benoist as Supergirl. But like everything else around her, besides like Jean, I want to throw in a dumpster. Because like, and then Arrow just throw the whole damn thing in a dumpster. Like,
man, you didn't like Sexy Man Chocolate, James Olsen?
Boy, don't even get me started. Hi, I'm James. I'm gonna be Guardian now. Let's not do that. But this man couldn't even show up for the freaking team up because he's busy being Jax in the Mortal Kombat movie.
He wanted out.
What?
Yeah, he's playing Jax in the new Mortal Kombat movie, and then they had like one of the like the reoccurring characters in Supergirl in the first episode of the crossover. It's like use his shield, and she's like, James left it for me. The universe is ending. Is James on one of these shifts? Is he dead? Like, what happened? He's not in Mortal Kombat.
That's his sister.
See, I didn't know that because I don't watch it. So thank you for telling me that. But it's like,
you might have to sit down one day, and I might have to chip away at you with using actual Supergirl continuity because some of it's pretty good.
I mean, like, I think what burned me was like just A, it's starting on CBS, and B, just like I honestly, yep. I think it was the Superman. I think it was I wasn't ready to let go Smallville, and I'm still not ready to let go Smallville. So, yeah, and also the whole thing of like...
You do at least need to watch the Toyman episode, because it is phenomenal.
Okay, that's fair. I'm opening to give Supergirl a chance just like I gave Flash a chance. Like, like I said, I love Grant Gustin to death. I just hate everything around him. We're gonna have Vibe be Sheldon Cooper, but like not Sheldon Cooper. Like or we're gonna have Killer Frost be bipolar, but get it? Bipolar. Like, and also his best friend. Like, why? Like, that's how I feel. You're crying how I felt for years. And then all of Arrow just thrown in the dumpster. I hate it. Like, the only good thing Arrow ever did was White Canary. That's it. Like,
I will say that Candace Patton is just too sexy to hate.
And you're valid for feeling that way, and I appreciate. I appreciate. Also, Keenan Lionsdale is sexy as hell, so we're high five. Yeah. All right, cool.
I got the controversial one for you, James. I got a couple for you here. Symbolically, Tom Welling gave up his powers, so you should give up Smallville.
Oh!
Tell me I'm lying.
We ain't there yet. Let me finish my thought. I'll talk about that when we get there.
Travis, that is my favorite thing today. Thank you.
That hurt myself. We ain't there yet. I'll talk about that when we get there. But in terms of when it comes to the crossover specifically, I will go back and watch Crisis on Earth X and Crisis, the first Crisis thing for Infinite, the Earths or whatever, and then this, because like any major comic book fan, I like a good team. I may hate everything when it comes to Arrow. I may hate the universes around Flash, but I can't say no to a good team up. So when it happens, I like tuning in. I love the Easter eggs, the things like that. And I say with this one specifically, I love everything that goes down to it in it, especially killing Oliver Queen twice because it was very satisfying. But also just everything involved in John Cryer as Lex Luthor is the best thing since sliced bread, and I love it. The only person, I think next to Rosenbaum, he's probably my second favorite Lex Luthor. Well, no, Rosenbaum, then dude from Animated, Clancy Brown, and then Cryer. I will say that firmly. Rosenbaum, Brown, and then Cryer. Because Cryer just walks in. You don't expect Lex Luthor to have a beard, but he rocks it, and he's so beastly about it. And I love his snark and everything. And then everything going on in this whole team up is just phenomenal. The cameos work. So let's get into these cameos. So we're starting off from the top of the roster. We kick off. I'll let you go through it, Mary. You made the list. I'll let you go.
I was just going to say that I tried to do these in chronological order as much as I could. But it's a lot of emails and phone calls and probably cake sent hey, can you come back and do this, please?
Can you hop on a green screen for 5 minutes?
Right. So in the beginning of Crisis, we see all of these Earths being destroyed. And that's the first round of cameos that we get. And because each episode, I think, in the first 3 parts, it opens with a different Earth being destroyed. I know at least in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But, the evil antimatter wave is destroying the entire multiverse. So we're catching the last glimpses of some of these multiverses. We have reporter Alexander Knox, played by Robert Wool, who was a bit character in the original 1989 Batman movie. And if you look closely, it's from Earth 89, so I found that to be supremely entertaining.
That was clever.
And clever. He's holding a newspaper, and it's got this big thing. It says, Batman defeats the Joker, and it's this big picture of Batman, and it's actually Jerry Ordway's artwork. The next universe we see to go is 2 seconds from an episode of Titans that
But see, what I looked up about this was the fact that it was unused footage from the finale, because originally Hawk and Dove were supposed to be in full uniform for the finale, and they ended up changing it. And the Doom Patrol's there and everything. So they ended up taking that and changing the finale because they were too busy doing with Doom Patrol. They didn't want to confuse viewers by having them in different costumes all the time and whatnot. So they decided to split them off in different universes and change the ending. But they used the footage because it made sense.
But there's actually 2 individual shots of Titans. There's one we see in the beginning and one we see in the end. So it's a difference in characters. But for the one in the beginning, it's just Jason Todd and Hawk. And that just made all the Titans fans so mad. Something I don't understand is that different factions of fans of different parts of the DC adaptations, it was the one time they all united to get really angry about something.
I think it was the idea that, I think for me, it goes back to how in the last Crisis, they had Justin Hartley's Green Arrow dead body on the ground, saying that, it got killed by the Book of Destiny or whatever. And I was like, that's kind of messed up, and I don't like that. So I kind of get the vibe going down of, each world being deleted.
Well, no, it's not that. It's like DC Universe fans hate the CW because of their low budget. The movies fans think everybody else sucks because it's not the movies, and then you have the Snyder cultists who hate everything DC. That's not the Snyder cut. That's not Snyder stuff. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
See, that's so weird for me because, like, I know I'm gonna trigger James right now, but Arrowverse had a better Deathstroke than Titans did. Flat out.
No, he did not.
It did.
I will kill you. No,
I've seen them both. I've seen them both.
No, because I have two. And no, I will firmly put my foot on the ground. No, that dude was a beast. This dude came in and destroyed these people. Arrow? No, denied. Their version of Ravager sucked. Titans Rose was amazing, so no, I will no.
Okay, I will give you Ravager, but Ravager is not Deathstroke, and Manu Bennett fucking mint.
Nah, man, nah. And take that TikTok meme out of here. I don't approve of that. No, denied. Okay, Barry, go on.
Are you two okay?
Nah, he triggered.
No, we're fighting.
He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing.
And there were various cameos with other CW characters and events because we saw the Ray pop up, and he was a central character in 2 crossovers ago with Crisis on Earth X, which is very good.
That kind of messed up. Like, why would you delete him when you could have called him for the team up? Like, I don't get that.
I don't know. They had to spend too much money on Tom Welling.
That's fair.
But no,
fair.
If you're ever upset and you want to watch Nazis just getting absolutely destroyed, watch Crisis on Earth X. It's very gratifying.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the cameos on Earth 38, which is Supergirl's Earth, we see Will Wheaton running around like a crazy person with a doomsday sign saying,
"You skipped one."
Oh. Well,
you
I'm at Will Wheaton, so I'll circle back.
Okay.
But the sign that Will Wheaton is holding is actually a reference to a sign that a doomsayer has in Superman 2 when General Zod and Ursa and the rest of them are invading. So that's a very specific, very random cameo, and I know Will Wheaton has done voice work for DC before.
Which makes sense, like that Will Wheaton was one of the nerdiest cameo of them all.
Mm-hmm. And the cameo that I skipped here in the outline, mistakenly of course, was the brief instance of we saw Earth 66. And we see Burt Ward, as in the original Robin, Burt Ward, walking a German Shepherd wearing his red and yellow sweater. And does somebody want to do it for me?
Go ahead, Travis. You did perfectly last time.
Holy crimson skies!
That probably hurt that he couldn't say Batman. I probably heard him.
Right, like you keep waiting for it at the end. But no, it was brilliant and remarkable. And I know if Adam West had still been alive, they would have teamed up. It would have been amazing. But I appreciate that we could do a nod to the original Batman TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Considering that most of the cast is gone now. Yeah, that hurts to think about because Adam West is gone, Eartha Kitt, Yvonne Craig, like
it hurts, bro.
Mm-hmm. But I appreciate that we got to have that, and you can hear the 60s Batman theme in the background, and if you look around, it's a bunch of 60s cars and 60s dress. Like, it just, the setting for that little 2-second clip is perfect.
Perfect.
But within the episode, I think Batwoman was part 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We get probably one of the larger in-episode cameos when Supergirl and Batwoman need to go find a Paragon of Courage. Yes, the Paragon of Courage.
Yeah, it was Courage.
They end up in an alternate universe where they just happen to run into an older Bruce Wayne. Now, the best part about this is that I feel like this cameo was a long time coming because it is Kevin Conroy. And if you're unfamiliar with the name, you will be familiar with his voice. He is the definitive voice of Batman, in my opinion. It is his voice I hear when I read the comics.
He is Vengeance, and he is the Knight. He is.
But I mean, he did Batman the Animated Series, the new Batman Adventures,
all the Arkham games, every single one.
all the Arkham games.
Not all of
except
them.
Origins. Except
yeah.
Origins.
But Origins doesn't count because it was stupid.
No, it does count because they use the Deathstroke continuity, the Firefly continuity at night, so it does count.
It doesn't count because it wasn't Rocksteady.
There you go.
But it's in continuity though.
Travis wins.
How does he win when I'm right? How? It's in continuity.
But no, he did the majority of the Batman games, both Injustice games. He is the definitive voice of Batman, and he is.
What about Dietrich Bader?
Okay, Dietrich Bader is the campy, fun Batman.
Yes, he is.
He is the campy, fun Silver Age Batman.
He even came back for Harley Quinn, and it's amazing.
I know, I loved it.
Is it acid? It's acid.
As sure as I am that this guy fucks bats.
But no, like for Kevin Conroy, like the minute you hear him, like because Luke Fox in this universe thinks he's all that in a bag of chips with his abs and them abs, but like no, like he like and you just hear him like call out Luke, and it's just like that gas that hits you, and it just that like the drop in tone in your voice, Kevin, just do it because you know everyone wants to hear it.
And I think the scene design, because we were talking about this before the show, the way the scene was designed and shot is the fact that we heard him before we saw him gives you a chance to make that connection. And it is our first nod to Kingdom Come, actually, which is the one of DC's most famous comics. It's a 1996 comic from Mark Waid and Alex Ross. So it is Bruce's exosuit is our first nod to Kingdom Come. And, you know, in Kingdom Come, it is also a grumpy old Batman. Are you two fighting over Deathstroke in the Discord?
Yes.
You're Switzerland right now.
Oh dear Lord! Well,
I'm not wearing hockey pads, Travis.
Well, I'm
literally the only thing better about Titans is the mask. That's the only thing.
The whole suit's better. I'm not wearing hockey pads. Damn it!
It's literally only the mask. Like one of them is tactical armor, and the other one's like this ghetto ass chainmail with a cool mask.
Are you for real right now? Are we? Oh my god!
I can't.
Oh, Mary, you gotta settle this. Look at them costumes.
I can't.
Okay, no, Travis, you're the Uber Batman fan. Talk about Kevin. We ain't doing this right now. We got a show to do.
Okay.
I will settle the fight. Deadshot wins.
I'll take Will Smith. That's fine.
I'll take Will Smith. That's what I do. That's what I do.
I will accept Will Smith.
Honestly, like seeing Conroy on screen as Bruce Wayne in the flesh and not in the animation was such it was like coming full circle as a kid because I grew up on Batman and Friends with the like all the blimps and shit over Gotham for no real reasons. So to see Kevin Conroy and another I don't know if you guys caught this with the whole the world only makes sense when you force it to line that keeps transcending through Batman for some reason. Did you guys catch that?
I caught it.
Is that in the actual Frank Miller comic? I have half a mind to go look and see if it is. Because if it is, that makes it the most consistent like motto other than I am vengeance, I am the night.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I'd have to look, honestly. I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. But honestly, I loved Conroy being the bitter, I don't care about you damn kids Batman.
And it was really cool.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it was really cool to see the departure from his constant, moralistic Batman that we all grew up with. So I think seeing the antithesis of that with Conroy and with his voice, I think that was probably the most fun.
Yeah,
it was a nice dark reflection almost, because Kingdom Come Batman was just as bitter because Superman put him in an exosuit, So to have the same Batman that we've seen throughout countless animated series, animated movies, video games, all of that, like lose his morality, like this senile old man, was perfect because I loved how they passed the torch over to Kate, aka
Yeah,
Rose.
and then they're even like, no, you were really the Paragon Courage the whole time. You just need to go on a quest to realize it. Like, that kind of hit me on some real.
You could say that she lit up the situation.
Oh,
That was too punny for myself. Like
But something I did appreciate with the scene is that Bruce and Kate have been cousins since the beginning. Greg Rucka has confirmed that since 52, the relationship between the two of them was always there. The relation, not the relationship, excuse me. But no, they have been cousins throughout. And we didn't really see that expanded on until...
Except for, like, the Arkham games.
Yeah. Well, there's a voicemail in Arkham City.
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight, yeah, that's what it is, Arkham Knight. But we didn't really see their relationship expanded on until Tinian the Fourth's detective during Rebirth. And then, we did get to kind of see them bicker like siblings certain times. And to finally get a grasp of that familial relationship between the two of them in the comics, and then to kind of see little bits of it in the episode, because Conroy can act just as much in person as he can via voiceover, and you can tell that he and Ruby Rose had a bit of a connection. I mean, the chemistry that he had with both of them in the scene was fantastic, with Melissa Benoist as well. But you could kind of, they really sold that scene, am I making sense?
Yeah.
But in my official stuffy Batwoman opinion,
I mean, like, I love how like Kara flat out just like gets mad the minute she sees those glasses. She's like, she just gives Luke the middle finger, flies downstairs, and is like, I'm about to whoop your ass. And the Kate's like, wait, hold on a second, hold on. Like, she gives her almost like that girlfriend look, like, stop, give me like, explain before you throw a punch. Like, it was so genuine, and then Bruce just hops off the tangent like, I killed Superman, I killed you, I killed her. I'm like, whoa, this is real. Like, whoa. Like, the idea of Kevin Conroy being evil, it really didn't resonate as a concept for me, because you see him from the animated series to Batman Beyond, like, as an old man still going at the struggle of defeating crime. Like, every turn, this man is always the one who's there. And then he ends up being the villain, and I was like, whoa. Defying expectations is real, and I love it.
It was a lot of fun.
Travis, do you have any final thoughts on Conroy?
Honestly, like, nothing that couldn't be just beaten off of what you guys already said, so...
I did not know he was gay.
Neither did I. That kind of hit me in, like, the heart.
Conroy is gay.
Yo, I should have called it with his gravelly ass voice. It's pretty sexy. Should have known. Should have known.
No,
I forget how he found out. I forget.
There was a tweet I saw where somebody was talking about that he'd be the first openly gay actor to play a live action Bruce Wayne, and I'm like, wait, hold the fuck up. And
that's what it was. You're right.
I did some poking around, and he, obviously, has lived the life of a gay man, but he just kind of quietly came out publicly in 2016, and I'm like, well, shit, I missed this. I am a terrible gay. Like, you could say, like, my gay Google alert failed me. Ooh,
that's real right there.
So, James, I will let you do the next cameo.
Okay. So we get to the somebody said that was wasted last year, and I'm mad about that. But anyway, but we get to the iconic Kent farm that was used in the last crossover, that was used in Smallville, and we have Tom Welling as Clark just doing his chores now that he is the man of the house, and Don Cryer shows up as Lex Luthor trying to start shit, and like. This cameo meant so much to me when I first saw the screenshots, but then they do the whole thing where they're like, oh, he gave up his powers, And honestly, season 11 is such a blur to me even years later, and I haven't had time to go back to season 11, the comic books, after the show wrapped to look and see what happened. But apparently Guggenheim still took some liberties with what happened to give Tom Welling something basic to work with because he didn't want to put a suit back on, which hurt me, which, like, okay, he did it for so many years, fine, I get it. But, like, this was the end-all, be-all. You couldn't put a suit on one more time. If Ralph can put a damn suit on, you can't. Like, that kind of hurt me a little bit. But what we get is so amazing. I love how he just gives Lex Luthor just the greatest hook possible, and then just goes, nah, man, I ain't doing this no more. Like, screw your kryptonite, screw everything. I'm a family man now. I ain't doing this no more. And then Erica Durance comes out, the best Lois Lane, next to the original. Thank you very much.
Nah, she's sick.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on.
No.
Wait, you can't just. The argument has always been Amy Adams versus Erica. You can't just come out the cut and say she sucks. That was never.
That was specifically meant just to piss you off, and it worked.
Oh,
no, I don't mind her. I don't mind Erica Durance as Lois Lane. She is far from the best in my opinion, but I don't mind her as Lois Lane. I just wrote the worst Lois Lane in the outline and made it read only just to make you angry.
She's the best.
You're horrible. But no, like I like just the minute you hear her, like because even when she's playing Supergirl's mom on the show, and I'm like, that's not you, honey. Don't do it. That's not you. And then they transition to a different universe, and you see her in the jeans and like in the flannel, and she just goes, "Hey, Smallville," and I'm like, oh, my heart. Like, it feels so good knowing even if he didn't want to put on a suit, these two got to reunite and share that on-screen chemistry that is just golden, and I love it so much. And yes, and like also John Cryer getting the teeth knocked out of him was pretty solid. Also, the idea that like Clark has two daughters instead of a son, which was kind of weird, but whatever. Okay, Travis, go ahead.
I loved the fact, and I know that I'm not the only one that saw it, that Tom Welling was literally on screen, like swinging around his proverbial super dick, like without any powers whatsoever. Because it was literally like you see him chopping the wood, and he stands up, and it's Tom Welling, way buffer than he ever was in the Superman in Smallville show, and he's just doing his thing. And Lex goes to punch him, and he catches his fist and just cold cocks Lex. And I'm like, okay, so two things. That was the most Superman shit I've seen so far, and that was the least Lex Luthor shit I've seen so far.
You've been choking my lemonade. Oh my god. You're right. But like, I did. That was so solid. So for what it was, it meant everything to me. But like, I'm sad that he couldn't put on a suit. And I'll leave it at that. Mary, you can continue now. Or do you have an opinion on it? Because I know you really watch Smallville, but do you have an opinion on it at all?
No, I did watch Smallville, and I liked it for what it was. But it just, Tom Welling never actually felt like Superman to me, if that makes any sense. That he's not a bad actor by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that there was just a little something that I was looking for that he never quite had for me.
You need to whip out your Hulu and rewatch the show. We don't have to have a whole episode on it or a few episodes.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Mary. He's a really good young Superman.
Yeah,
he is.
See, but it's just kind of the adult Superman that I never bought. Like, for me, he'd be a really good Superboy.
Nah, man, because like even when he hit like the you should be in the cape by now age, but like but they won't, the rules won't let you be in the cape. Like, he just radiated that essence when he would stand or when he would speak. It was so perfect. And like, hell, that one scene we got where he just stands up and gives us that look where like no smile, no nothing. He just like gives that really noble look to it. I was like, you're Superman. Like, I don't need nobody else. I don't need friggin' Man of Steel. I don't need nothing. All I need is you to put on a red and blue suit, and we gonna make some magic. That's all we need. Like, forever. Like, Reeve is the only one that can top you. Screw Dean Cain. I love you, Brandon Routh, but you ain't it. Like all I need is Tom Welling.
I don't know, he just didn't do it for me. Like, I've seen Smallville. I have watched the show from beginning to end. I have seen the show, but he didn't do it for me.
We're gonna have
It
a
reminds
rewatch.
me a lot of like to me like early Smallville before they started doing all the other crazy like adult Clark shit. I think early Smallville really reminded me a lot of like Superman 1, Christopher Reeve's Superman. You know, the one that's outrunning the train and jumping over the tracks and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe I got from.
Like, if you want a perfect example of why in show like him, like especially when he had graduated, of why him in a suit would have been magic. It's like season 10 or 11 when Dustin Hartley Oliver, who is leagues better than Stephen Amell, thank you. Like the tension between those two was almost like Downey and Chris Evans about the fact that just like that Oliver really wants to put Luther down. Like, he really has this vendetta. He wants to stop him. He wants to kill him. He's tired of the bullshit. He wants him dead. And Welling just does that perfect Boy Scout to a T. And he hits every note perfectly. That dynamic there, especially when it's like, not only is he engaged to the woman I love, but right is right, and I can't let you kill this man. Like, it's so perfect. So, like, I need y'all to do a rewatch because we don't have to go through this shit. I'm sorry. Like, we don't have to do it.
My answer is no, James.
Why?
Because I just sat here for 10 minutes with you yelling at me about this.
Okay, fine. Next. Next cameo.
No, like, I have nothing wrong with Tom Welling. He is a fine actor. But I feel like I'm just at that age where if I did...
He's also a fine actor.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You
But
people and your attraction to men.
I don't want to hear it. You're just as bad as me when it comes to women.
Well, yeah, but that's more fun.
Okay, anyway. So Mr. Kingdom Come.
Yeah, and the next probably equally as large as Conroy cameo is Brandon Routh, who you will recognize obviously as the Atom from Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow, but however, before all of that, he was Superman in the movie Superman Returns. That was 2009?
Mm-hmm.
Was it 2009?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 2009, they tried to do an ill-fated sequel to Superman 4. And
oh, no, it was 6. I'm horribly off. It was 6.
Okay. I was wondering if it was 2009 or 2006. But anyway, they tried to do a continuation of Christopher Reeve's Superman, and so they cast Brandon Routh, who is a very good Superman, and he, in his younger days, was a dead ringer for Christopher Reeve, though.
You are correct.
I mean, you can see it a bit now, a little bit less now that he's older, but it is still there. He embodies a lot of what Christopher Reeve brought to the movie. Now, where I think the movie fell apart was just everything else.
Yeah.
The rest of the casting was not great. There are questionable people that were cast.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sidestep the whole Kevin Spacey thing. He's a piece of shit, and we all know it.
Yeah. That's why I just kept going along with it.
Yeah, but the script was poor, but it gave him really fantastic Superman moments. Like when they're firing the guns at him and he just stands there and one of them just bounces off of his eye. Like, it's so cool.
Yo, the dude put the gun straight to his eyeball and it just mushroomed the whole bullet.
Like, it's one of my favorite things. And I am a sucker for any super person doing anything to catch a plane. Like, I don't know why, but I am a hoe for those scenes.
That's fair.
I mean, because they do it in Superman Returns, they've done it in a bunch of other Superman properties. They even do it in the pilot for Supergirl of look at how much money we have. But no, we see Routh's Superman Return. We see his Superman Return, but he is Kingdom Come Superman. He is wearing the Kingdom Come suit, and he explains to the others who are there, because it's Lois, other Clark, and somebody else. Iris is there too. But no, he explains to them that the Joker attacked the Daily Planet and killed a bunch of people, including Lois, Perry, and Jimmy. So because of this, there's a framed headline on the wall of like Metropolis attacked or something, and the headline image features Alex Ross artwork from Kingdom Come. So that's
pretty dope.
Mm-hmm. No, it's anytime I saw artwork, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I know that, and then I'd pause it, and then I'd Google it, and then Victoria would get really upset with me. Because why can't we watch the episode like normal people?
Because that's not as fun. You gotta know all the cameos and stuff.
But something I do think is funny is that it's Earth 96, and Kingdom Come was released in 1996. So
that was pretty clever.
It's a lot of fun. The way they worked in some of these cameos is clever. And Brandon Routh's Superman becomes a bigger character in the last couple of episodes when we find out that he is one of the Paragons, but gets killed off surprisingly quickly because Lex Luthor plays with the Book of Destiny and goes, maybe not. Maybe I'm the Paragon.
That was garbage.
But it is such a perfect Lex Luthor thing to do, though.
It is, but when they hyped up Kingdom Come Superman so much and then just went, no. Like, I felt kind of hurt by that.
But I mean, it's not like Brandon Routh had nothing to do.
True.
But see, I think for me, it was all worth it for the scene at the very end where they reenact Reeves' smile and wink at the camera.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Okay. We got a blast through these. We've been going for a while. But the next one was Ashley Scott returns as the Huntress from the early 2000s Birds of Prey.
Oh, that one was great. Like,
that was great. I love that she still got to do some stunts. Like, she still has, apparently, according to the actress, Rachel something of another, I don't know. She was playing Alice on Batwoman, but she played Dinah in the original Birds of Prey TV show. So she came back for Batwoman. But I remember reading an interview with her that she said that Ashley Scott actually personally owned most of the Huntress costume. Like, she took it with her after the show. So she got to put the leather back on. She got to, the necklace. I think, pretty sure it was a wig at this point. But we got to see her doing some cool shit. And then in a voice only cameo, Jesus Christ, I cannot talk tonight. We have Dina Mayer returning as Oracle. And then, Oracle gets, erased, I guess, a little just before Huntress does.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see both of them because the show is cheesy, it's campy, it's bad, but that's why it's so much fun.
It even had a Mark Hamill cameo in it.
Mm-hmm. Then later on we have Lucifer Morningstar pop up in a reference to where it was on Fox, wasn't it?
And now it's on Netflix.
But it is technically is a DC character. Lucifer is based off of the Vertigo comic of the same name, but DC.
If you want to know where their budget went, that's where it freaking went. Yeah. It didn't go on the Welling.
Rest in peace, Vertigo Comics.
Amen.
They just, I think they finally got phased out this month.
Yeah, that's when I put that tweet out and it broke my heart.
Mm-hmm. So that was a fun cameo, and Tom Ellis even had everybody convinced that he was not there to film Crisis, because he was spotted in Vancouver. And he's like, no, I'm just visiting friends, and we all believed him, and then when he popped up, yeah.
He's like, hey, John, what's going on?
And then the stupid bait and switch. Stupid bait and switch. We have John Wesley Shipp return as the Flash, as he has done many times previously. And I love John Wesley Shipp, and I like that he gets to be the Flash again. But stupid bait and switch. And we all.
What do you mean?
Well, no. The whole time, the entire Flash series has been building up to Barry's going to die. And then they do the whole, but we didn't tell you which Barry was gonna die.
Yeah, you're right.
stupid bait and switch.
So you technically still get the Crisis scene, but it's not the Barry you thought it was gonna be.
And see, I hate it because it's a stupid plot device. It just stupid.
It's like, we still want to have a show, guys. Like, come on. I hate that.
But I appreciate that John Wesley Shipp got to have his big moment. We got a little bit of a flashback with him and Amanda Pays for the one season of the 90s Flash. show. So I think it was a very nice moment for him. And
that still like kind of signals to me though. Like, also I agree with you that the stuff with Ship was like beautiful. I never watched the original show, but like, him being there is amazing.
You have to, just to see Mark Hamill as the trickster.
I might have to.
Oh,
but like, what I was gonna say was like, on some real stuff, like them doing this bait and switch signals to me that they weren't comfortable with giving Keenan Lionsdale the reins to be the Flash.
Well, I mean, he's also doing a bunch of other stuff.
True.
I mean, that would require a lot of contract stuff, and I don't think it's not necessarily they don't want to give him the Flash. I don't think that they want to remove Gustin. If that makes
like sense. As much as I don't like Wallace, like I think Keenan's earned it.
I mean, that's between you and Guggenheim.
Oh, I have a lot of words for Guggenheim, mainly X-Men Gold, but that's a whole different argument.
Like, what the fuck did you do to Kitty Pryde, man?
Bro. But no, my whole thing with Ship, like I have my conflictions with Ship being Jay Garrick, but him being in the original 90s Flash suit is just amazing.
Mm-hmm. And now, I don't necessarily count it as a cameo, but Black Lightning is also in the scene. He is rightfully in the crossover, so I don't count it's not a cameo. It is his rightful place, goddammit.
But like, it's so if you wanted to do right by Jefferson, you should have made him a freaking Paragon. Like, I was firmly on that.
I was upset that he wasn't a Paragon.
And like on top of that, he doesn't even get to be in the end fight. He gets to be in a hallway with bipolar Frost and Heat Wave. Like, what happened, bro? Like, why aren't you out there?
I hate to be that guy. I hate to be that guy. He's the black one. Feel it.
Racism. And I said it, Mary. I told you that when the Entertainment Weekly article came out and they didn't have him on the photograph, they didn't interview him. They were gonna do him dirty. And like, yes, he came in, but like they still did him dirty. I called it.
Why are you yelling at me about it?
Because I'm right.
I didn't write the episode.
You right? but
see, I told you, Mary, they racist. And Mary's like, I never disagreed.
I needed a vent, but like no, because we need her vent about this stuff all the damn time. That's why I had to say something. But no, like on top of that, like Mary, we both called it like the teaser for next week's Black Lightning, where it's like, hey, they're still dealing with like being under martial law, but like I'm gonna just fly back to Freeland, y'all.
Oh.
Like I just like, and plus apparently continuity somewhat changed because all the lessons that Jennifer learned in the tie-in to Crisis don't matter now because she's still gonna not trust her dad or whatever. I'm like, bro, what is going on? And I this whole thing with Black Lightning just has me so agitated because there was all these people when I first got mad about the Entertainment Weekly thing that were all like, but Black Lightning's not in the Arrowverse. Just because it's on CW doesn't mean it's in the Arrowverse. Just because it has the same showrunners and producers doesn't mean it's an Arrowverse show. Well, guess what? It's an Arrow show now.
Well, they have Black Lightning. I think is the only one that actually has different showrunners.
Well, no, like they changed it, and like Guggenheim's been helping produce it.
Because there have been issues.
Well, yeah, but like my biggest point, and hell, when they did the freaking summits, like the big diversity summit, you had Cress, you had Martian Manhunter, you had freaking dude from Gotham. Well, Gotham's not. Wow, Gotham didn't get a cameo in all of this. I just realized that.
That's not a bad thing.
That's a very good thing.
That's true, but like if you gonna call Ezra, you should have called someone from Gotham. Jesus. But like, point still stands. Racism exists.
But I mean, the thing is that I don't know how that would have worked cross network. Because,
true.
Like, yes, Warner Brothers does own all of it, but at the same time, there are network contracts, and now that Disney owns Fox.
Hell, Krypton didn't even get a spot, so like, it's what it is.
See, that one actually kind of upset me. Like, they should have Cameron Cuff in it.
To be fair, we all know how Krypton's gonna end.
Well, yes, but I mean, the enthusiasm that Cameron Cuff brought to his role, like, it was just, it warmed my heart. He tried to work in a little thing from every Superman actor, and it was great.
Bro, what if Lobo would have got a cameo?
Dear, as long as it's not like sexy Lobo, I'm fine. You remember DC
Wow.
year they had sexy
Everybody
Lobo?
hates sexy Lobo. I don't understand. Like, sexy Lobo was like, it was them trying to take the 2000s emo spin on Lobo the same way like the 90s grunge was the original Lobo. It made sense. The writing wasn't that bad. I read it.
It was so bad. It was Dick Grayson Lobo.
It wasn't that bad.
It was Dick Grayson the Zarnian.
Honestly, like, sexy Lobo makes me just as sad as sexy Cable.
Okay, fair. I'll give you that. Okay, that's fair. Because I hate sexy Cable. Okay.
And this brings us to undeniably, unarguably, the biggest cameo of Crisis was the giant, glaring reference to the DCEU, tying the movies and the TV shows together, Mr. Ezra Miller theirself.
Hi, I'm Barry Allen. Like that blew the whole damn door off the joint. Like, wow.
But
like,
yes,
wow.
Ezra Miller, I was in absolute, because we were watching it live when it happened. And I was just in absolute shock. Like, I jumped up out of my chair in shock, and even Victoria, my wife, who could not give two shits about comic books, audibly gasped when it happened. That should tell you how shocking it was. I audibly gasped.
That's great. See, like, I saw the picture first on Twitter, because I watched it the next day on the CW app, and I saw it, and I was like, this is a Photoshop. You're playing me. And then someone like recorded the video, like the footage, and put it up on Twitter like a minute later, and I was just like, "Oh, this is real." Oh, wow.
And I've been tracking that story ever since it aired, and some fun things happened. Is that Guggenheim hadn't even considered it. He got a call from the president of DC TV, or Warner Brothers TV, saying, "Look, I know you guys are locked down, but can you squeeze in Ezra Miller?" And he's like, "Wait," and Guggenheim's like, "Wait a minute, what? If you can get me Miller, we will make it work." Like Ezra Miller sought them out. He wanted to do this.
That's awesome.
Because he is a massive fan of Grant Gustin. Because if you can go back and watch press tours around Justice League and BVS, he is absolutely hyped on Grant Gustin. He's so excited that they both get to be the Flash. They're so excited. God, I keep doing that.
It's fair. Like, you correcting yourself. That's what matters.
Yeah, I know. I just, I'm frustrated. But no, just the fact that they both get to be the Flash. And I love the enthusiasm.
Like, just the whole scene itself is so like perfect, and Ezra, they're like so just back in the suit, they're like right back in the moment, and it's perfect. And Grant takes it in stride, like it's like he doesn't try to like drop it off. I love the moment where Ezra's like, "You want a selfie, bro?" Like that kind of like showed time had passed for him. It was so perfect. I loved it.
I still think my favorite part was when they're feeling each other's costumes, and TV Barry is like, "This feels so protective," and at the same time, Movie Barry is like, "It feels so breathable." Like, just pointing out the differences in the costume. I loved it. And then
Travis, we're nerding out. How did you feel about it? Travis died. I think Travis died.
He goes.
Sorry, I was doing dad stuff. Contextualize me. Hit me.
Ezra Miller, yes or no?
No.
What?
No?
What?
You didn't like it?
I don't like Ezra Miller Flash, period.
That's fair.
Me. I get that it's a big deal because it's movies to show, but I could not stand sheepish Barry Allen Flash. You know, I had to deal with Grant making this really, really nice blend of Wally and Barry. And then they took Ezra Miller and then were like, "You're the Flash, so yourself before your bar mitzvah." Okay, cool. And that's pretty much the whole thing for me. It was very frustrating to watch.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. We'll move on. I loved it. I loved it. But like, I understand.
I do just want to say, I appreciated the Cyborg shout out. I told
Yo,
Victor
bro,
this
my
was
heart,
possible.
my heart. Like, bro, if you could have randomly just like almost like a post credit and just had like Cyborg there, I'd have been over the moon, bro. Like, I'd have been over the moon. But I'm glad you acknowledged my boy's presence. That's what matters.
I just want to write a letter to Christina Hodson, the screenwriter for the Flash movie, and go, just, dear Christina, please bring back Ray Fisher. Sincerely, everyone.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, and this takes us through all of the in-episode cameos. In the very end of part 5, we get a couple of different things of the new multiverse and the brand new Bouncing Baby universe, multiverse, whatever. We have a shot of Stargirl, Stripe, and etc. because that is the new DC show.
Oh no! You can't just say etc. Hold on now. Let me get my JSA hat out. Okay, JSA hat is on. Okay, so we get Stargirl, we get Stripe in literally the biggest freaking mech suit that I could have possibly gotten, and I'm freaking happy as hell because I thought that they were gonna put this boy in a Robot Man level suit. They put Luke Wilson in a freaking Optimus Prime looking gear, and I'm hyped as hell. So,
did you see the behind the scenes photo of this?
Yes, it's huge.
It's practical and it's massive.
I love it. And like you have like Our Man 2, you have Dr. Midnight 2, and then they even went back into the bowels of they could have easily just had Tommy Bronson be the next one. But they called up Yolanda Montez to be Wildcat 2 in this new continuity. I was like, damn. That is bold, bro. That was a reach.
I did appreciate that. And I just realized that I wrote strip instead of stripe in the outline. So, but no, that is
Stargirl and Strip.
I mean,
Rick being there had me freaking sold. Like the idea that they're acknowledging everything, especially after like Smallville tried to do the JSA right, and then Legends kind of stumbled over it and crashed and burned, and I was like, I'm glad we got. Like, I'm happy with this future. I'm happy about it.
But I did like the way that Legends did Obsidian, though.
Oh, Obsidian was dope, but like the rest of it, I was like, yay, Dr. Midnight's black, but like that's kind of a pun on him being black, and I kind of hate it. So yeah, but in general, I'm hyped for Stargirl. I'm not too digging her being a Trump lover, but like we gonna move past it. We'll separate the art from the artist. That will let you continue.
See, I don't, because people are like, Mary, do you know what network it's going to be on? No, I fucking don't, because it was a DC Universe show. It was shot with a DC Universe budget, but the first episode is premiering on the CW. I don't know if that's an attempt to try and pull in more money to DC Universe, or if DC Universe is looking at the show going, I don't know if we want this anymore.
I could see it being the former rather than the latter, because especially with them having to cancel Swamp Thing, and Titans and Doom Patrol are on hiatus until they figure out the whole HBO Max thing. Mm-hmm. I can see this being them trying to boost their numbers because they're kind of just coasting on their comic archive right now.
Well, Doom Patrol was a last-minute renewal.
Was it?
Oh yeah, no, it was absolute last-minute renewal because the panel, the Doom Patrol cast was getting ready to do their San Diego panel, and they found out like the day of that they had been renewed.
Oh wow!
And it was around the time that the whole Swamp Thing financial debacle came out, because Swamp Thing wasn't canceled because it was bad. Swamp Thing was very, very good. It just they lost a shit ton of money on it.
Oh.
But so no, we got a nod to Stargirl, and then we see sort of the only really good part of Green Lantern was all of the shot of Oa and the entire Green Lantern Corps. So they used that footage from the actual Green Lantern movie.
That caught me off guard.
I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned because I saw what looked like the Guardians, and I'm like, wait a minute. And Victoria just went, oh god, no. Because I have my giant ass lantern up in the corner of my bedroom, so I was so excited for that movie. It broke my heart, y'all. I was so excited.
If it wasn't Ryan Reynolds, it would have been so much better.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we do see a shot of our dear beleaguered Swamp Thing.
He just sits there so sad. Like he...
Well, if you pay attention to the voiceover, it says, empires rise and then they fall, and then it's a shot of Swamp Thing. Like, oh no.
Yeah. Like they knew what they were doing, and that kind of hurts.
Yeah. We got another Titans shot. This one had Raven, Starfire, Dove. And then we got just the shot of Doom Patrol. And
that was great.
Them just dancing like idiots. And when Doom Patrol popped up, now, again, disclaimer about my wife, she does not give two craps about comic books. Like, does not care. Absolutely does not care. Fucking loves Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is her favorite TV show.
Wow.
Yeah. And she actually cheered when the Doom Patrol popped up.
Honestly, I was surprised that they were finally gonna put it in stone that Titans and Doom Patrol are in two different universes. They just acknowledged that Doom Patrol and plugged it there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that caught me off guard. I was surprised they pulled that move. Like, yeah, some of the actors reprised their roles in Titans for one episode, and then we're gonna be in the finale, but we cut it. But this is a totally different universe. That's why they look different than how they look in the show versus this. I was like, wow, I dig it. I kind of hate it, but I also dig it.
I mean, it means that they have something specific planned for season 2 of Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
But it also kind of solidified the strength of DC's multiverse, which they've always played very heavily into.
They could recast Beast Boy, and then no one could say anything about it now.
But no, and the last and greatest cameo of the best cameos of all of them is Mr. Marv Wolfman himself. Pops up.
That made my heart happy.
Because I just kind of like, because I've met Marv Wolfman, and he is a very, very tall man, and he's very sweet. And, you hear the voice, and I'm like, wait a minute. And Victoria just looked at me, and we just looked at each other and went, oh my god, that's Marv Wolfman.
I love how they made sure that Grant and Melissa were the ones that got the autographs, like that, like specifically because of Crisis on Infinite Earths and the fact that he had to kill them both. Like they made sure that they got the autographs from him. That was pretty.
So fucking mad that I did not get my Supergirl versus the Anti-Monitor fight.
They punched you on it. They literally punched you on it.
However, we got the moment where everything is fucked and Supergirl just looks at the Anti-Monitor and she's gonna do it. And I was sitting here at my desk going, fucking do it.
And then Ray's like, sorry, I'm late. I'm like, bro.
But I mean, just even in that instant, the face that Melissa Benoist gets, that, because, Supergirl's death in Crisis on Infinite Earth, it is my favorite moment of that event. It is one of the most underrated sacrificial deaths in all of comic books. Like, her fight against the Anti-Monitor is one of my top comic moments. And I got to see a little bit of it, and I knew Melissa could do it, but it was good just to see a tiny, tiny
I told you it wasn't going to happen. I told you the minute that, like, what was it, the first or second season, when they had, like I forget dude's name, but like their version of Superman do the shot of holding Melissa, I was like, you're not gonna get that thing. Like I told you flat out, you didn't believe me.
Why are you?
But like what we got was pretty dope.
You were just relentlessly gunning for me tonight, aren't you, James?
Hey man, like it just like. I'm glad I was right, but like also like but also I will agree the moment was there. Honestly. I was kind of salty they did do it because not only did they punk you on the Flash thing, just teasing the death was like, but it also we did get to see Oliver die again, so yay, that's what matters.
But the final thing in the end is when they form the Justice League, we do get a brief nod to Gleek, who is the monkey from Super Friends, who is the pet of the Wonder Twins. So Wonder Twin powers activate. Give me the goddamn Wonder Twins.
It's in red too. Fucking Gleek, give me Wonder Twins.
Yeah, I actually wrote that.
I love it.
Okay, so that is the end of the cameos. I mean, there were a few other inter-CW characters that popped up on the shows to go, look at the flexibility of our contracts now, because we have Weather Witch pop up in National City.
That was I love how Kara's just like, I'm sorry, who are you? I don't know you. Like, how do you exist? Like, it was, and then Barry shows up like, hi, she's one of mine. Don't worry about it. Wait, how are you on my Earth? This is my Earth. Like, that moment of realization that everything's one was so solid.
Mm-hmm. I still can't help but think that they did all of this to make contracts easier.
Oh, most definitely. I did find it funny that like only certain people came in for certain things. Like they had Elongated Man and Vibe there for one of the episodes, but then didn't come back for the finale. Hence why Black Canary was a like big tech girl instead of on the battlefield. I was like, say what, homie? What?
It's because they have contracts with the shows rather than the network. And I'm wondering if they're doing this to try and have greater flexibility. Because you can go back and look at each of the crossovers, and certain characters will only appear in certain episodes, usually the episode of the show that they are on, because they can't appear outside of them.
Okay.
Because Candace Patton talked about it a lot, because Iris was sidelined in the very first crossover, and everyone's like, but why? And she says, my contract.
And then they only gave her one episode. Was it one or two? Because like I don't remember if she was in part 3 or not. She was in part 3.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's a contract. Just because she can appear on like Supergirl and Flash doesn't mean she can appear on Legends, kind of a thing, you know. It's a lot of lawyers and money and agents and boring.
That's why I don't know why they didn't just call every episode Crisis on Infinite Earths. The last one on the CW TV thing said Crisis on Infinite Earths. The rest of them had specific things like Arrow, Batwoman, Legends, whatever. And I was like, why didn't you just call it all Crisis and make it easier on yourselves?
It wouldn't have changed anything contractually.
Ah, lame.
So that rounds out the cameos.
Excellent.
And I figured we could, because from here on out in the outline, I figured that we could just kind of give like brief thoughts about what we thought of the whole thing. I mean, I don't think we necessarily need to break down the plot step by step.
I'm glad Oliver's dead. I will say that. I'm
you
sorry,
like 8 times. This is like the 9th time.
Hell, and then he even gets his last. You failed this universe. I was like, you made it so grandiose, and I was like, bro, did you need to do that?
Yes, he did.
Nah,
he jump-started. If it wasn't for him, none of this would have happened. The success of Arrow literally laid out the foundation for all the other shows to thrive.
Okay, but you know what would have been better?
Honestly, as much as I do hate to admit it, like, I don't like Arrow. I think the structure is bad. I think the narrative is boring. I think just figure out your damn canaries already.
Oh my gosh, yes!
Oh, I know.
I could go on for hours, bro.
Just thank goodness for Kathy Ann and Journey Smollett-Bell, because it looks like they're gonna get this right.
Yes. Yes.
Birds of Prey in theaters February 7th.
We will be reviewing it.
No, yes, we will. But
no, Travis, you like, because here's the thing. At the top of the whole thing, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mary. I'm sorry. You can finish your thought if you need to. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that, I didn't really jive with Arrow at all, but Travis is not wrong. The success of Arrow laid the groundwork for the rest of DC, of the CW DC TV, and I will go so far as to argue bringing a certain amount of normalcy to superhero TV shows in general, because there was a time in the early seasons that everybody watched Arrow. So I think you can look at each live-action TV superhero show and just kind of, see something that Arrow played a part in. I mean, I'm talking Marvel Netflix, I'm talking DC Universe, I'm talking Runaways on Hulu. Like, there was a part that I do believe the success of Arrow played in
that. And don't get me wrong, I just at the top of the hour that I agree that Arrow has its importance in the pantheon of DC TV, DC Universe in general. I admit that. I have to admit that, because otherwise I sound stupid. Like, But at the end of the day, Travis, you know what would have been 10 times better?
Earth 52 by 1,000 Pounds Productions, which is what competed directly.
No.
Oh.
Either bringing Justin Hartley back for a new show, or here's a funny idea: since you already have him in multiple DC projects, including that weird almost Damage Control type show they had with Vanessa Hudgens for a minute. Alan Tudyk, because you already have him voicing Green Arrow in like 5 different DC properties, because he nails the comedic stick, the snarkiness, the actual like issues of a family man that Oliver goes through. The realness of Green Arrow is right there. Put him in a goatee and put him on set. You don't need Stephen Amell. Stephen Amell failed this show. He is not Green Arrow. I took his own line and abused it against him because he is not Green Arrow.
How are you as disrespectful as Bullseye in one rant? How?
Bullseye.
I mean, narratively, the first 3 seasons of Arrow is basically just a Batman TV show, and we all know it.
Yes.
Batman with a quiver.
Yeah.
Hey, Travis, I got the perfect sell for you. You ready? Let's take a character who has a great rich backstory that we can pull from. A great idea to give amazing women someone to look up to. A person that has survived being sex trafficked and has gone through the issues that she dealt with, and is HIV positive and is dealing with that every day of her life. Or no, how about let's just take that character that can be really good on television that Smallville started to do, but it was in the last season and we couldn't finish it, and let's just make her Oliver Queen's sister and take everything I just said away from her and change one letter of her name. And then later, we'll give her real name to Oliver's daughter in the last season.
Yeah, man.
I hate Arrow.
You didn't know? This is the new wave.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo, but yeah. And, don't get me wrong. I still, like I said, I have to give Arrow the credit it deserves. I have to give Flash and Supergirl the credit they deserve. But Black Lightning did it the best, and no one can tell me otherwise.
All right, agreed. I'll give you that. But to be
Batwoman's kicking
honest,
ass, and it's like she's only been for half a season. So,
but to be completely honest,
I like that you added that for my benefit.
Well, not even that, because here's the thing: I still have been keeping up with Batwoman as I've been watching, like on the CW app, and honestly, it has its cheesy moments, but I honestly love Ruby Rose's Batwoman. I'm not even front. Like her on-screen presence is just perfect cake, and I freaking love it. Did you guys die?
No, we're still here.
Okay.
I just figured you were gonna keep going.
Oh no, stop.
Well, see, okay. I know you hate on Green Arrow so damn hard.
Oh no, I don't hate Green Arrow. I hate Arrow. There's a difference.
Okay, so you hate Arrow in particular. But the thing is, and this is specifically super serious for the viewers, is that James has poor taste in Slade Wilson's. So,
oh my god! I don't wear hockey pads, Travis.
I mean, those look like tactical vests to me, and not ghetto-ass chainmail and pauldrons. Just saying. I don't need to ruin Slade's children just to make Oliver Queen have a bigger dick. Slade ruins his own children in the story. Shut your ass.
We need to stop. We need to stop. Mary's probably just dying of laughter over the corner.
Oh god, no, I've given up. I'm just kind of sitting here messing around on my phone.
Okay, Mary,
no, as soon as I heard Slade Wilson pop back up, I just kind of started scrolling Twitter on my phone.
What's the hashtag saying right now?
Oh my god. Okay, Mary, take us home.
But narratively, in the first 3 episodes, nothing really happened. there's a lot of setup. We get to, we get the Paragons, we get Oliver Queen's last stand on Earth 38, which is, it's cool. It's a nice send off for Stephen Amell, who all issues with Arrow aside seems like a perfectly pleasant human being. Like, he interacts.
He's definitely a great person.
He interacts with the fans. He loves the character, and I know this was really emotional for him. So I appreciate that he got to have, his big moment. I do think the For Oliver battle cry at the end was a bit kitschy. But,
yes, it was.
But I mean, superheroes by their very nature are kitschy, so.
Mm-hmm.
But something I do think worked is that they do kind of hail Oliver as the first, if you will, without necessarily stripping the agency away from any of the other heroes.
I agree.
Because I felt like, because Batwoman is so awkward the entire time because she does not know these people.
They even forced her into in a whole Speed Force scene, a scene of like Oliver and Ray, and I was like, what?
And she's just kind of like, oh, okay, this is moments in your life, not mine. Great.
You could have referenced The Last Crisis, for crying out loud. Like, why didn't you do that?
Yeah. But no, at the very end, when Kate and Black Lightning or Kate and Jefferson are just kind of standing there, like, they're so awkward, they don't know what to do. They're just kind of like, so, how are you?
It's like, Oliver was a pretty cool dude, huh?
I mean,
he says that.
What else is he supposed to say?
And also, I feel like whoever whoever was writing the scripts for this episode didn't know how to write Jefferson, because the way he says "bruh," I was like, that don't come off right.
Yeah.
but no, I will say the memorial scene is very deep. I agree with you that Kate and Jefferson kind of sit there with their thumbs twiddling, like we're gonna move on now. Also, why are we in this giant base looking thing? Oh, that's why.
It is so campy, and I love it. It's the goddamn Hall of Justice.
It's so good.
And
like those chairs, bro. I need that Black Lightning chair.
Right, I need that Batwoman chair. But I like that we're kind of getting our own TV Justice League Super Friends. Oh god, what was it that I called it to somebody on Twitter? The League of Super Justice Friends.
Dude, I like that.
But no, and I think something that I do like about the CW is that, sidebar, I notoriously hate the Silver Age. I think the Silver Age of comics is just gross, ew, gross. No, go home. I don't like it. I do not like the Silver Age.
Is it because of the comics code?
Yeah, it's because of the comics code. And, we got these very bizarre, overly sanitized stories that have all aged very, very poorly, mind you. I'm not saying the Golden Age was any better. I'm just saying that nothing happens. It's all too quirky and sanitized. And I don't know. It's just, I have complicated feelings with Silver Age. But what I do enjoy about the CW is that it kind of takes the quasi-seriousness, quasi-kitschiness of the Silver Age and successfully brings it to the modern world, kind of a thing, if that makes any sense at all.
No, it makes perfect sense. I gotta agree with you. Like there's those lines that I can't stand, but I accept, where you see Wild Dog go, is this how all the crossovers are? Or the legends go, you went another crossover without us. I love that so much.
But that's so kitschy and it's meta and it is perfect if you look at it within the confines of the Silver Age. So I think the CW is doing well with modernizing the Silver Age and kind of, rolling it into the Bronze Age a bit, where we started to see a bit more realism come back into comics. So, it is a good mixture, and I think the writing for the CW shows isn't given the narrative credit that I feel like it often deserves. And I think I think Crisis pointed out that, what they can achieve. I mean, this was all just rebirth. Oliver even says something about rebirth in the end. No, this whole thing was just Crisis becomes rebirth.
Wow.
So, shrug. But just general thoughts overall. Let's go around the table, if we will. How do you feel about Earth Prime, and what do you think this means for the future of the CW shows, James?
I think for specifically for what we have now, we have 2 episodes left of Arrow. Arrow's dead. Cool. But I'm excited for what it holds for the new Justice League or Justice Friends, whatever we're calling it. Because next year or in 6 months, when we want to do an event, or now we can do more cameos in different shows, it presents a lot of promise. I like how with the Earth Prime, they try to pull the stunt of, oh, Lex Luthor's a good guy, so let's create a new dynamic for him and Kara. I was like, that's really cool. I'm wondering what's going to happen with Barry, because literally, other than Danielle Pandamaker, no one's there for the finale. And I was like, oh, okay. And it just, we don't know what's going to happen with Flash moving forward now that Oliver's gone. We don't know if Barry's going to go through like a whole like existential crisis. We don't know what's going to happen. So it's just there, especially now that, since if I remember correctly, watching some different teasers and trailers and whatnot, the majority of the past season of Flash was based around the crisis coming and the Flash was going to die. So what do we do with him now is a big looming question. Like I said, like jokingly a minute ago, I think the big fear I have for Black Lightning specifically is we don't know what's going to happen with him just flying back to Freeland in the middle of an occupation. And also, like Batwoman's the only one that can come out of this unscathed. Like, literally, she's the only one that has no ties to anything. So, bless her. Keep doing the good work. But, like, I'm worried about Jefferson. I'm worried about what could happen with Flash moving forward. Like, did you need to keep Flash going? Could you have just killed him and not did the bait and switch and just ended his show too? Like, what are you going to do with him? I don't understand.
But without John Jones playing, exposition man.
Oh, that too. That irked me. Like, literally, you couldn't just have everyone but the Paragons remember everything too. You had to have like super magic black man run around and go like boop 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 boop. Everyone has their memories back. Like, why? Why did we need that?
Well, I was watching because Victoria and I, we did the whole go behind the scenes in the CW app. We were looking at those, and there is the preview for the next episode of Arrow where one of the Canaries, Dinah, no, Laurel, which one's the blonde one?
I don't know.
Okay, well, God, Katie Cassidy, that one, not Juliana Harkavy, Katie Cassidy. Why do I know the actresses but not their names? Messes with something on her hand and then touches Mia Smoke in the face, and then she's all like, "Oh my God, I remember everything." And I'm like, did Jean give them magic Martian technology for exposition?
Why didn't you just have Mia at the end fight? Why?
Well, because they have to take the time and set up the Green Arrow and the Canaries. Because that is the new show spiraling out of this, is the official Arrow spinoff is going to be Mia, Laurel, and Dinah as Green Arrow and the Canaries. Which I'm all for, baby superhero shows.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I just, there's too many damn birds. That's how I feel about that. There's too many damn birds.
Okay, so Travis, same question.
So I got interrupted a few times by wee ones. Hit me with
No, you're fine. What do you, just your general thoughts and opinions, what is your feeling about Earth Prime? Now that they're all on the same Earth, and what do you think this means for the rest of the CW shows going forward?
Honestly, I think it kind of emboldens them to bring in a lot more lesser known characters that they can flesh out a lot better. Maybe okay, I love the character on screen, but I do want less Cisco's and less Killer Frost. I like Cisco, but I don't need more Cisco. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I would really want to see some really obscure DC characters come to the limelight. I would love to see, this, in my opinion, this would be the perfect opportunity to have Simone's Secret Six show up.
Yes, because they just did Ragdoll, and that was so good.
That would be
You're
perfect.
damn right. That would be perfect. All we need, like, we already know who Bane is. Bane can easily come in Batwoman. Easily can come in Batwoman.
You already had a Deadshot with Arrow and Suicide Squad. Just call him for the
Right.
that.
Right, and then not to mention the character that would really, really need some work and some love and some shine would be Thomas Blake, because you'd have to be able to do the flashbacks of him being that fat, degenerate douchebag and then going to Africa to basically live wildly and remaking himself. I think it would be a wonderful way to have like the ragtag Suicide Squad feel, but with a lot better writing and a serialized series.
And not Skinny Waller.
Right.
And they're leaning so hard. Hey, we respect Viola Davis in this house. But
but she is the compromise of like she fits perfectly of Waller and has the attitude of Waller, but like she isn't just Skinny Waller.
I forgot that Waller was on air. I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to say.
Oh no! I would never disrespect Viola. No. Oh no, honey. Oh no.
But I mean, the CW has been leaning hard Gail Simone for a while now, because they bring in Ryan Choi, who is one of her creations. Ryan's daughter's name is Simone.
I noticed that.
And in the episode with Ragdoll, the law firm that gets robbed is G. Simone and Associates.
I love that.
So, just go full Gale. Just bring in the Secret Six.
Please. If you guys could give me the speech where they're on the slave island and Banshee tells Wonder Woman to go fuck yourself, you never were in the struggle, and then just make her foam at the mouth. I need it.
That would be great.
And honestly, I just want to see Scandal whoop everybody's ass.
And
that would be
punch
cool.
Bane in the neck with a knife for trying to be dad all the damn time.
Especially with how crappy Vandal Savage was, bringing in Scandal to just redeem him would be amazing.
I mean,
I would love that.
In the even in the first season of Legends, where we do get Vandal's daughter in the future, that is theoretically supposed to be Scandal, but they didn't like the name. Gail has talked about that before. Is that theoretically speaking, it is supposed to be inspired by Scandal Savage, but they didn't like that her name was Scandal, because Scandal and Vandal.
Oh, it hurts.
That's rude.
Just imagine if they had Simone's Secret Six show, and the very first episode is the fucking straight up go to heaven free card. Fuck, that arc was so gnarly.
See, I like that we're starting to dig in more into comic stuff, because now with this new format, we can do that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now Travis just got excited because the idea of talking about Gail Simone's Secret Six would be amazing for him.
Well, Catman, okay, I'm a huge Batman fan. You guys already know that, but Catman is another because he's supposed to be a joke, and then Gail Simone turned him into this serious I want to be Thomas Blake, not pre-transformation, post-transformation. Thomas Blake.
Have you read any of the Golden Age Catman?
I have not.
I did for my first op-ed, the Catman case study.
Isn't it just wild?
Like from what he is now to what he was, yeah.
Trying to seduce Batwoman.
Bro.
What I need is modern Catman and modern Batwoman to have to team up for something.
That would be the perfect way to bring him in and just do that.
It would. And make him to where they're both fighting Cheshire just for added effect.
Ooh, yes.
And Cheshire can play at the heartstrings with both Batwoman and Catman because that's what Cheshire does.
Yes. I'm loving this.
Did you see that they're bringing in Nocturna for Batwoman?
What?
Say what?
Yeah, they're actually doing Nocturna from Undraco's run.
That's awesome.
So, and she is a legit vampire. They are going full down the road of Batwoman's supernatural route.
Okay. Well, we done sat here and geeked out and rambled and argued. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up for you folks. Don't forget that you can catch this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, YouTube, all that fun stuff. Except for SoundCloud, we don't support SoundCloud. You can listen to this. You can follow this podcast on Twitter at PTP_podcast. I forget that I do the spiel for 2 different shows, so my stuff's backwards. And you can check out the website on comicsground.com. Put some hyphens between those words. Check out all of our reviews, previews, solicitations, op-eds, all that good stuff. And follow the website on Twitter and Instagram at On Comics Ground. So, Travis, what is your closing statement of the return of Panel to Panel?
You know what it's gonna be.
Wade Slilson is better in Arrow.
Deadpool don't go here, but
Hey, I said Slilson. They're different people.
Mary, what is your closing statement for the return of Panel to Panel?
I can't.
Is that your closing statement? You can't?
Oh, yeah, I can't with you too. I swear to God. And Birds of Prey in theaters February 7th. Get your tickets when they go on sale. And I don't know.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
That song is catchy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's going to be the death of Roman Sionis as an actual mobster, I promise you.
Yes.
All I know is that there are attractive women, and Renee Montoya and Rosie Perez can still get it.
Yeah, I'm just a cisgendered straight male, but Mary, that's my language.
I don't know about that, but
No. You watch the beginning of Do the Right Thing, and then you go to Birds of Prey, still sexy. Both of them still sexy.
Did you just say Do the Right Thing? You just earned so many damn points.
Holy
shit.
Bro, you don't even know. Mary has earned her black card tenfold multiple times.
No.
You don't even know. Like, trust me. We're going to have
Thank God for the lips. Thank God for the nipples. Like, man.
So trust me, we'll have to have some conversations because you need to know things. All right, we will catch you. So my closing statement, as always, support your local comic book shop. Arrow is dead, thank God, and we will catch you folks next time right here on Panel to Panel. Peace out.